All right, Nick, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks draft is past us. We love to go back in and dive into the drafts of these teams that we think are really smart and do really great things and see, was there any hidden value? Was there any hidden gems in this draft that the Seahawks maybe identified better than anybody else? And oh boy, was there. There was one player in particular that Seattle got that we think is an absolute home run, a steal for the Seahawks. Can't believe that they got the value for this player. We'll dive into him in just a second. But first, I'm Andrew. That's Nick. And this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, the Seattle Seahawks got some major value here in a player they picked all the way at pick number 223. That's right, the 7th round. They got some incredible value. Let's jump into the tweet to refresh everyone's memory, and then we'll get into all the details after that. So this is from over on PFF College on X. It says, Seattle Seahawks select Miami running back Damen Martinez, 223rd overall. That was in the 7th round. He had a 96.8 rushing grade since 2022. That is second among all running backs. So very good start for Martinez already in this one tweet, but it gets even better. Let's jump into his bio, just kind of see what he's all about. Damen Martinez from Louisville, Texas, went to University of Miami, or at least that's where he finished his college career. The guy's pretty big, 6 foot tall, 217 pounds, did a lot of great things, decent production score, good athleticism score, good overall score. But when you start to get into the numbers of this guy's career and what he's done and how he's graded out on PFF, it is absolutely insane. So let's jump into the first part. This is his overall PFF grades for the 2024 season. And for anyone who doesn't know how PFF goes for the NFL level, when you're looking at grades, like a 60, 70, that's a 60 is very mediocre player. A 70 is probably a solid starter. 80 is like a Pro Bowl level player, a very good player. And 90 is like a Hall of Fame worthy type of player. Damen Martinez graded out, this is in college, bear in mind, but a 94.4 rushing grade with the Miami Hurricanes, 83.4 zone grade, and a 93.7 gap grade. His elusiveness grading 127.5. You can see that dot is in the blue and all the way to the right. It's off the charts. He also averaged 4.51 yards after contact. Again, you see the dot slammed all the way over to the right, about as far as it could possibly be. This guy is off the chart in absolutely every metric. So you think this guy, he dropped to the 7th round. He's big, he's fast, he runs like a 4.5 40. He has pretty good grades. He either A, didn't play a whole lot of snaps, or B, didn't get a whole lot of production in college. And that brings us up to our final chart here. Absolutely not. This guy played a ton of snaps. He rushed for 1,000 yards or close to 1,000 yards the last 3 seasons, whether he was at Oregon State or whether he was at Miami. In this last year with Miami, let's look at his stats. 1,006 yards. He had 10 touchdowns, 17 catches for 204 yards. Oh, and look, every single season he has been in college football, he has averaged over 6 yards a carry. Absolutely incredible. This guy was a steal. I have no idea how he made it to the 7th round. Seattle picked up another one, and with the injury concerns in their running back room, I think Martinez paired with Kenneth Walker, paired with Zach Charbonnet, they have an absolute stable of running backs now. This guy is incredibly impressive to me. I love everything about him. And I think this was probably, I'm going to say, this was my biggest steal of the draft so far as where he was drafted versus the potential of this player. It is absolutely through the roof. But, Nick, I want to hear what you have to say about this. Before we get to you, though, Seahawks fans, in the comment section below, talking Damen Martinez, 7th round draft pick. Let us know, did you even know they picked this guy? Were you aware of him? Did you say this is the guy you had your eye on all along? I'm just curious, how does everybody feel about Damen Martinez? You should feel good from what we're seeing. So let us know what you think about him in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest get for Seattle?
So when you first sent me this report, I said, wow, it looks like the Seahawks got a lot of really good value, like you mentioned a number of times. But I don't think people understand that this was literally the biggest move of the draft on a purely analytical value basis. So let's dive into that. And then we'll talk more about Martinez, why he slid, and why I think that was stupid for the rest of the NFL, great for the Seahawks. So going into our first chart here, this is just a representation of the value that drafting Martinez in the seventh round, gave the Seattle Seahawks. So you see a little bit of red on top. Most of this chart is blue, just this single chart here. This red plus blue is what the rating according to the NFL draft value chart is associated with Damen Martinez's PFF big board status, his ranking. So the PFF big board had him at number 80. The draft value chart said the number 80 position is worth about 180 points, right? Based on their score, how they score things. Selecting Martinez in the seventh round, that's that little red sliver. That's how many points that is. So you can see all the blue right there, that's all value the Seattle Seahawks picked up. They basically got a guy on the big board, was slated to go middle third round. They got him in the seventh round. This is the most value we've seen any team pick up this entire draft process. More than Shadur Sanders to Cleveland, more than anybody else. In fact, let's pull up a few guys right here. We got three great steals, three great value finds we covered over the past week. You can see on the top right, top there, we got Will Howard with the Steelers. We've got Kyle Kennard with the Chargers, and then we got Jalen Royals with the Chiefs. Three really great value plays. You can see there's decent amount of red with all three of those guys, right? You've got Will Howard about half, you've got Kennard about a quarter, and you've got Royals about a tenth, right? But still a decent visible amount of red. Now, if you don't mind switching back just to get one more visual of the Damen Martinez here, there's like almost no red here, folks, guys. This is unheard of. This is absolutely bonkers stuff. Now, normally when this happens, like you kind of mentioned, Miles, there's usually a huge glaring red flag, like this guy never played, or he played D3 football, or there's some huge concern. The thing is with Martinez, the only concern, and I did a lot of digging on this guy, is that he doesn't have breakaway speed, right? He doesn't have elite speed. He's not a guy that'll hit the home run, and that's fair, right? He ran a 4.5 40, but his tape on film was never a breakaway guy, was never a super explosive guy. But here's the thing: he's just a good football player. Whether he gets 70-yard runs or has the potential for 70-yard runs or not, Martinez, year in and year out, snap in and snap out, game in and game out, was just a really good football player. You brought up the fact he was great in man schemes and zone schemes. You brought up his elusive rating off the charts, can make people miss. Efficient runner, averaged over 6 yards per carry, combined over 500 career totes in his career. That is absolutely bonkers. His PFF grades, elite kind of stuff. Everything you want to look at when it comes to Martinez says he is going to be a superstar player at the next level. The big question though is, well, is he fast enough? Does he have elite speed? And at a certain point, we just got to take a step back and say, listen, good football players in college tend to be good football players in the NFL. Now, if there's a chance Martinez and his speed deficiencies hold him back a little bit in the NFL, and maybe he's just, I don't know, a really good change of pace back, good short yardage, good goal line guy. If that's the case, the Seahawks got him in the seventh round, right? There are teams that spend third round picks. There's teams that spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to try and bring in a running back with that profile. And that is essentially based on Martinez's film and production in college. That is his floor. His ceiling is superstar kind of stuff. And people sit there and say, well, how can he be such a star, right? He doesn't have top end speed. People forget, as much as we love the highlight runs, most of the running game that is predicated on that 5 to 9 yard window, right? Getting to second and 4, getting to second and 6, getting to second and 3. That's how offenses open up. That was the Shanahan offense that really revitalized football in terms of the change in strategy. That was McVay. We're seeing basically everyone in the NFL do that. How can we get to second and 5? Because it makes it easy for our quarterback. How can we get to second and 4? How can we convert third and 2s and third and 1s by running the football? The Seahawks got a guy here in Martinez who literally checked all of those boxes every single year throughout his collegiate career and did it at an extremely high level. Is he a home run threat? Absolutely not. But is he a really, really good football player? I'm going to say a great football player. Absolutely. And the fact that Seattle got him in the seventh round, it just blows my mind. This, in my opinion, was the smartest move of the entire draft.
Yeah, Nick, and I think when you talk running backs, and if we're being analytical here, if we're being fair, I'll say, it's tough to justify a running back in the first round, so I'll go there. But this is the kind of player where you go, okay, he doesn't have the breakaway speed, but his stats are there. He's going to slide out of the top of the second, maybe to the end of the second, maybe to the top of the third round. His stats are too good. But this is a guy, let's reiterate this, that the Seahawks picked up in the seventh round. The ability to get this guy, the ability that he was there, and the only things that were wrong with him were okay, doesn't have breakaway speed necessarily, and some people say he lacks aggression. Whatever that means, I think he's done pretty fine on his own, being as big as he is and running as well as he has. However he runs, maybe he doesn't need to run as angry. He runs more, clear-minded with vision in mind. He hits the hole smarter, something like that. Who knows? Because whatever he's doing seems to be working pretty well for him. But the fact that he went to the 7th round, it blows my mind. You show the value chart, everybody's seen it now. The little bit of red, all blue is the value. There's almost all blue and no red. This was like the most value pick because this guy should never have been there in the first place. He was absolutely incredible. And like I said, this is Seahawks team. They're setting themselves up very well. Sam Darnold, he's going to have a stable running backs behind him. You're going to have this offensive line here. Gray Zabel coming there. We did video on him. Go check him out right when he was drafted. We thought he was a good player. Gray Zabel now slotting in at a guard position. This offensive line is looking significantly better. I think just overall, we see the new receiver room. We see Cooper Kupp in here. This team looks very, very good. It's different than we've seen Seahawks in the past. It's much different, but it looks really good. I like what's going on here. I think you've brought this up in the past, Nate. This mirrors more of a Baltimore Ravens-esque team from Mike Macdonald, what he's done in his past. They're working on the offensive line. They're going to have a very strong running game. Jalen Milroe, mobile quarterback potentially in the future. We're looking something like that. This is a team that's setting up really nicely. I expect to see a strong run game in Seattle coming up. This reminds me, we're talking Baltimore. This reminds me of Gus Bradley when he was drafted by Baltimore. Really strong running back out of Rutgers, not too much known about him. He came in, burst onto the scene, and did a really, really great job with Baltimore throughout his tenure there. So this is that kind of pick. I think it's going to catch people by surprise. They got themselves a star here in Martinez. I really think Seattle, if he can't hit the home run, at least they hit a home run in this pick.
100% agree. This is just so bonkers to me when I keep looking at his numbers. In fact, Miles, if you don't mind, while I'm talking here, if you can go back to his career stats here, because I really want to highlight this for everyone watching at this point in the video. Is sometimes you get great value on a guy who had a flash of potential, right? He played, let's say, at Miami, if we're using Martinez. He had one season, he got 40 balls, let's say he's a receiver, 40 balls for 700 yards and 6 touchdowns. You're like, there's a lot of potential there. So he's ranked pretty high, but he falls in the draft. But when you look at Martinez's stats, 3 straight seasons averaging over 6 yards per carry, 10, 9, and 7 touchdowns. He can get in the end zone, right? Averaging over 1,000 yards per season. He doesn't have an incredible amount of tread on his tires, never had more than 200 carries in a single season. So it's not like he's completely worn out his body, taking 400 carries a year at the collegiate level for 4 years. This is a guy who's healthy. He's got great legs, great frame, strong runner, efficient runner across the board, right? We talked about the value a lot, and that's really important. But this isn't just a value pick where, hey, listen, it's at the 7th round. This was a 5th or 6th round prospect that fell to the Seahawks here. So it looks like a lot of value. They got a great football player. He dominated in the Pac-12 at Oregon State for 2 years and had a really great season for Miami last year. Whether it was the Pac-12 on the West Coast, or in the ACC on the East Coast, wherever Martinez goes, he plays at an elite level, and I think that will continue with Seattle. I think when we fast forward 6 months and we're in the middle of the 2025 regular season, people are going to look at Martinez making plays for the Seahawks and going to be like, where'd this guy come from? How did he fall to the 7th round? I don't know why he fell, but I guarantee you the Seattle Seahawks won't regret picking him. This guy's going to be a big-time contributor for this offense, not just this season, but I think for many years to come.